To start Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana, we are going to use Docker containers. So for example, in this case, we are using a Docker Compose file and we are defining our services. The first container that we are going to start is Elasticsearch. It's based on the image from the Elasticsearch with this version, right, 8.11 that we are using here. And also we are defining a container name, and we are defining the environmental variables for that container. So first we are defining that it should be, since we are running that locally, it should be a single node, and also we are disabling the security, so we are turning off authentication and the TLS encryption. And also what we are doing here, we are defining the parameters for the JVM, for the memory settings, right? So we are setting that the heap memory where the objects are created and in Java, so we are setting that to 512 megabytes. And also we are defining the volume, so where our container will be saved. And also we are defining ports. In this case, we are, by default, Elasticsearch uses 9200, so we are also defining 9300. And we are defining the network. In this case, we are using a network called ELK for all three. And also we are defining the policy for the restart. So for the Logstash, it's exactly the same. So again, we are defining our volumes, where our volumes will be saved. We are defining ports, and we are defining the environment. Here we are giving a heap. So here heap is, the size of the heap is 256. And also we are defining the network, and it depends on this container, this image depends on the Elasticsearch, and also we are defining the restart policy. For Kibana, it's the same. The only difference is that we are defining here the Elasticsearch hosts. And also we are defining that where we are going to store our volumes. Our volumes will be stored in our case, right? Since we are starting it locally, it will be saved in the local file system. And also we are defining what kind of network we are using. In this case, we are using one of the most widely used is a bridge network. So that's it. For the Logstash, we are defining two more files. So we're creating a folder Logstash, and we are creating here config and the pipeline folders. So here we are defining that. So here we are defining the variables for the Logstash. The first one is that HTTP host. So what it means is it basically will be available to everyone. So also we are defining where our pipelines will be stored. Pipelines is basically the rules how we are transforming the data, right? So we have input, we have filter, and we have the output. And also, we are defining here our configuration for the Logstash. We are going to talk about that a bit later. So in a nutshell, so we are defining here input, so from where we are getting the data, how we are filtering that data, and where we are storing that data, right? The output, input, filter, and the output. That's it. That's all we need to starting the ELK stack locally. So now we can go and start it. So the only thing that what we need to do is we need to run the Docker Compose app, and it will start all containers for us. But in my case, I have already started. Let's just run, see that indeed containers are running. As you can see here, yes, indeed containers are running. In my case, I have Elasticsearch that is running container, right? It has been running for 24 hours. And also it's available in the port 9200, the same as for Kibana, and the same for the Logstash. So now we can go and check that indeed they are running. Let's go to check that, okay, it's Elasticsearch is running in the port 9200. Logstash is 9600. It's also running, and here we have what? Here we have a Kibana. Kibana is running on the port 5601. So Kibana is a visualization tool. So here we can go and see our indexes. Let's go and check our indexes. For example, let's go here to DevTool, and the DevTool I have created already one index products, and let's search for that. Right? Let's see that how many products we have. So here we have created an index product. Index, you can think about it as as a table in the database, right? It's very similar, and we have here 3 documents. Document is very similar to the rows in the database. So here we have 3 rows, right, of 3 documents that we are calling them. We have so for products we have a laptop for with this price, we have a TV, and we have another laptop with this price, right? So that's it. And what we can do now, so now let's go and insert some data to Elasticsearch. So for that, let's go back to our IntelliJ IDEA. I have created a Maven project here. So let's go and see that what dependencies do we need for that Maven project. So for that Maven project, we need only 4 dependencies, right? The first one is we need to define the Elasticsearch Java client that will be using to connect to the Elasticsearch. Also, we need a JSON converter, and also we need the HTTP client, right? It's required for the transport, and also we need the Elasticsearch REST client. So that's it. That's all the dependencies that we need to run our Java project in order to add, remove, and so on indexes to the Elasticsearch. Now let's go to our first example, how we are adding let's close this. So how we are adding index to the Elasticsearch. Here I have created a simple file. It's a Elasticsearch insert example. So what we do here, we are creating a REST client, and we are defining the HTTP host, which is the Elasticsearch, right? And we are creating Elasticsearch client, and we are passing the client that we have created, REST client, and we are also defining that what kind of mapper we are going to use. In this case, we are using this kind of de facto standard Jackson JSON mapper. That's it. After that, what we do is we are creating index. So index, as I said, is the table, is similar to the table in the, let's say, relational database. So here we are defining a table, or in this case index, and we are defining ID for it. ID is, for example, we are defining 2, right? We are defining ID as 2, and so for the document, which means the entry, we are defining that the product, right? So we are creating a products index or products table, and we are adding document. Again, this is the similar as if we would add the row in the database, in the relational database. So here we are adding TV with the prices 2000, and we are refreshing immediately. So what it means is, as soon as we will add it, it will be available in the Elasticsearch. Usually we don't do that in production, but for the sake of the local run, let's do that. Let's set the refresh to true, which means that it will be immediately reflected in the Elasticsearch. So that's it. Then after that, we are just printing that we have saved our index with the ID, and we are printing here response ID, and also we are closing the client in order to not to lose the resources. And we have here created a record that we will use in order to add our document. So that's it. So I have already added that. Let's add some more. Let's say that not TV. Let's add here monitor, right? Monitor. And let's say that the price is 1000 monitor. Okay, so we are adding a monitor, so we are adding another index to the Elasticsearch. Let's run it. Okay, index with the ID 2 is added. Actually, we have used this already, ID. Let's use ID 6, for example, here, right? Let's use ID 6 and let's run it again. Okay, ID with the 6, right? For the products, we have added monitor with the price 2000. Now let's go to the Kibana and see that it's indeed added. So we go to the monitor, you see that the 1000 is added here. Okay, we can do, one of the way is to check that what we have in the Elasticsearch is a Kibana, but if you are not using a Kibana, we can directly query Elasticsearch. For that, we can use tools such as, for example, let's say in this case, I'm using Postman, so we can define Elasticsearch host, and we are defining the index that we are using, in this case products, and we are defining search, which means that it will give us all the products. If we will run it, it will give us again the monitor that we have just added, right? So with the ID, with the score, and with the source. Okay, that's it. And one more thing is, before finishing this episode, is that if we are adding an index, right? If we are adding a document, we have to define the ID for it. If we are not defining the if we are not defining the ID, Elasticsearch will add that by default. So for example, let's remove that ID here. Let's say we are adding a new monitor. Let's say that the monitor _1, right? And the price is 1200. So let's again run it. So you see that this is the ID that is assigned to this. This is the ID that is assigned to this product. And let's go and verify the same in the Kibana. So let's go to Kibana and run this query. As you can see here, monitor _1 is added with this ID that is generated by Elasticsearch.